Welcome to SoMo Garage, bringing you the latest racing news, sim racing talk, driver chat, and highlights from the SoMo racing leagues with SoMo Racing League drivers. Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Get ready for 1 hour of kicking the tires in the SoMo Garage with your hosts, Aaron Reilly and Paul Zotta. SoMo Garage starts right now.
Good Sunday evening and welcome to SoMo Garage. I'm Aaron Reilly along with Paul Zotta, Joe Mitchell, and Stephen Parks. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Doing good. How are you guys tonight?
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. Hanging out, just enjoying the night.
So another long week of racing. Martinsville is in the record books now. So from all you guys' point of view, how did the races go at SoMo this week?
Well, my race went in the record books, not the record books. uh, I didn't. I only got to run a handful of laps in the beginning, but I was surprised it was actually really clean. There was a lot of long green flag runs, a lot of hard battles going on. It was definitely a good race.
You know, I went back and looked at where I started for the truck race. Now, this week got over, and I just kind of, I thought to myself, it wasn't that great of a week. You know, I didn't really get any top tens. I went back and looked at Tuesday, and I guess I had made up 28 positions, starting 43rd, and I finished, I think it was 16th or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I made up a ton of positions Tuesday, and then start at the back of the pack Thursday, and end up with a 13th place finish. I will take it after the past couple weeks I've had.
Yeah, you had a good run Thursday night, man. That's the only race I ran was Thursday, and it really wasn't bad. I mean, my car wasn't anything spectacular. I got stuck in the pits, and I ended up going a lap down. I fought a couple of guys to get into, the lucky dog position. Finally got there. Um, Went into the pits and ended up getting stuck in the pits because it ended up closing before I could get out. So I ended up giving back that lucky dog, and I just could never get on the lead lap. I think I ended up 2 laps down because I got stuck in the pits twice, man. It was so hard with so many cars on the field to try to get in, even though we were pretty bunched up at the time, but to try to get in the pits and get out of the pits before, by the time you were going in the pits, man, the pace car was already on the other side of the track, just getting ready to come back around. So, but for as many cars that started, I think it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I definitely thought that out of the nights of racing, I think definitely Thursday night went better. I was surprised that the Cup race went as well as it did. I figured that was going to be the worst one out of between Tuesday and Thursday this week, but surprisingly, it was a fairly clean race. I mean, there wasn't a lot of guys making a lot of bonehead mistakes, and it was pretty good. Tuesday for me didn't go so well. I messed up twice in the pits, one right after the other, and got caught speeding, and then entered a closed pit. So that basically ruined my night. But all in all, I mean, both nights were pretty good, but definitely I think Thursday was a little bit better. All right, guys. We have pretty busy night coming up. We have Chris Grosso joining us. He's actually the winner of Thursday's Cup race at SoMo. And spotter John Ravel, who spots for Stephen Parks, is joining us tonight. So we'll chat with him a little bit coming up. And pretty busy week with NASCAR. So a lot of stuff to talk about on that end. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back with Chris Grosso.
But it's a mystery, and I don't like mysteries. Give me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now.
Candles by Amy, JIC.com. A piece of high-quality jewelry in each candle. Quality soy candles, amazing scents. Customize, and make your own. unstressed in a world of amazing scents. Bath bombs, skincare, tarts, candles, weight loss coffees, and more. The perfect way to say, I care. Candles by Amy. Great for gifts or just because. Imagine the look on your loved ones or friends when they receive this amazing gift. Even more when a fine piece of jewelry is revealed during their spa bath, candle burn, tart warming. Be a giver of relief and non-stress. The perfect way to say, I care. Candles by Amy.
Now back to your hosts.
All right, we're back here at SoMo Garage. We have Chris Grosso joining us. Chris, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, good. How are you guys? Glad to be back.
Yeah, not too bad, man. Well, I mean, your second interview of the year so far. You're doing pretty good. You got 5 starts with SoMo. You got 2 wins, so that's a pretty good track record so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty awesome because, Paul puts together a just awesome league here, and, you got to run hard every week to be up front. There's so many good guys, so it's, when you win one, it's, you celebrate, and it's awesome because they're hard to get.
Yeah, you're right. There's, maybe last year or the year before, you might have had, a few guys to look out for. Maybe 2 or 3 good guys that always ran up front. But now, to run in the top 10 at SoMo is an accomplishment because, there's so much good talent now in the field. You really to get a top 10 at SoMo is really cool, but to bring home a win is awesome. So you got 5 starts. I guess you missed one race. Heck, if you had that race counted, you'd probably be, I don't know if you'd be our points leader, but you'd be pretty darn close to it, I think. So pretty cool to see that. Chris, tell me a little bit about your background again, because I did. It's been a little while. How long have you been racing again?
This will be going at my 3rd year, so I just kind of watched Twitch and YouTube videos for a while, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. So, just started out with the basic stuff, and then last year, towards the end of SoMo season, I met Reilly and his whole group at Lazy Days, and I was actually watching him on Twitch. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet. He's got the rigs of rigs, as they say. He's just got so much crazy stuff in there. It's so cool. He's building a new one right now, so but I got with him, and then he's like, yeah, SoMo does this great league. I was looking for something more than just the fixed, every day just running, A fixed, B fixed, running consistent with some guys, and he brought me into SoMo, and that's kind of what's been going on ever since.
Okay, so you're hooked up with Eric. We actually got to interview him last week. He's a real cool guy to talk to. He's he's just a straightforward, straight shooter kind of guy, but really, really nice guy. And you definitely got yourself hooked up with a good team.
Yeah, definitely. He's amazing. Just the little stuff he does. If guys in the group need tracks or anything, he's not afraid to just help out, no questions asked. Computer parts, just everything. If you need help with a track, he'll help you out. And he's a pretty funny guy on TeamSpeak. I wish we could have like a segment to listen to some of the in-car radio, because he can crack you up regardless. He was kind of talking to me a little bit during the race Thursday, and just kind of keeping me calm and joking around. He's a pretty funny guy behind the mic.
That's actually something I think Steven brought up, was do some chat like that, put it on here, we'll edit out some of the stuff that wouldn't be good for airing, but I think that would be pretty good to hear, because some of the stuff that comes through is amazing.
Yeah, some stuff might not be good, but yeah, there's some pretty funny stuff, at least through LDR, man. We have some good laughs.
What do you what do you do outside of SoMo? Do you do any other kind of racing, or are you just strictly with this league right now?
No, I run A open, A fixed, and B fixed, and of course dirt. Trying to get a handle on that. That's a totally another animal, but it's kind of a breath of fresh air. So it's been fun. We got some good dirt guys in the group. So
Yeah, that's one of our topics tonight too. We're going to be talking about dirt. Have you got to run any races yet?
I've done some hosted stuff, but I haven't got my feet wet in any of the official stuff. Kind of just a roadblock in the way. So just learning the tracks and just having fun with it.
Is there any car that you're gravitating towards more? Like when dirt first came out, I couldn't drive the street stocks or the late models, so I tried the 360 Sprint, and I really liked them. And then Joe Mitchell here was giving me a hand in the late models, and I actually was starting to do some laps and figure it out a little bit, and started to enjoy it. Now I can't go back to the wing because I can't drive them. So I'm going to kind of stick with the late models because I really do like them a lot. But any that you're gravitating more towards, you feel more comfortable with?
Yeah, I like the sprints right now. Just kind of easier to drive. I've messed around with the late model. It's just a whole nother animal as far as, you know, putting the weight down and getting the car to rotate. When I first got dirt, I started with a street stock, and then I was like, "Oh, this is horrible." But Cody Kramer got me into the sprints and kind of showed me the lines, and he's done some real dirt racing, so he kind of knows his stuff, and kind of took me around the track, and then we did a little hosted, and I felt pretty comfortable in the sprints. So it's still pretty new, but I'm definitely gonna try to dabble in it a little more.
Very cool, Chris. As always, man, it's a pleasure to have you on and, talk about, your wins and your success. And, glad to see things are going good over there, with Eric's team and all that. He's a heck of a guy, and you definitely got yourself in a good place. And I'm sure we'll be interviewing you again.
Yeah, thanks. I hope so. Yeah, it's been good so far. Like I said, every time you win one, it's like you get a little taste of what the guys go through in real life. Crossing that checkered and just kind of getting real excited. It's really cool what Somo's put together, and every week just fighting for wins and racing hard. You can't just sit back and kind of cruise. People are battling for the wins.
Hey, I don't remember. Do you are you running all 3 nights full season, or are you just doing like Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, I'm just running the B and the A car at the moment. I think I'm leading the points in the B, so that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Have you ever done like full seasons like we're doing here? Like obviously Thursday night's a 36 race season with the chase, and I believe Wednesday night is a 34 race season. I might be off by a race or two, but I know they're pretty close. Have you committed to something of that kind of a commitment before in the sim?
No, this is the first year. I hooked up right at the end. I think there was probably, I would say, 6 races left with you guys. Towards the chase, and then obviously it wasn't in the chase, so that was about it. But no, just this is the first the big long season.
Well, it's good, man, to see you got the wins. Obviously, it locks you into the chase, and I don't think it'll be a problem with you meeting the 20 out of the 26 to get in. So at least you'll have your feet in the first part of the door when that first chase comes out. And, you do what you can to get to the next one. You shouldn't have a problem getting in, but you'll see at the end of the season, man, you get like, wow, you can't believe you're still going. It's such a cool feeling when you finish. You're like, wow, and you look back, and you take a look at your stats and take a look at all the races that you've done. It's just amazing to see how you can go that many races in a league. And with life, so many things come up, but to be able to try and get there every week and get it done, man, is definitely something.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I caught the end of last year with Eric. He made it, I think, to the final four, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want that stress at the end of the year. He was so nervous starting the race and stuff, but it was cool, to kind of see what it was like. I know he was stressed and nervous, but yeah, it should be cool to just go through the season and have the ups and downs, of course, and just keep on digging.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing going into that chase because last year me and Steve made it into the chase, and we talked to each other during the races and all. And I'll tell you what, excuse me, every race that we were getting ready to start, man, all I could think about was I got to finish good. I don't want to be, one of the bottom four. I don't want to be one of the bottom four. And when we came down to, I think the second chase I made it into, the second part, and I messed up at Talladega in the pits, and that allowed Steve to beat me out and get into the next chase that was coming up, and I had to take the back road.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be crazy. I mean, like I said before, there's so many good, drivers here that it could come down to just a simple, pit mistake or, a couple inches on the track.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you aboard, man. We like your style. We like you. You got a good attitude. You definitely run clean, run good. We look to see more. Hopefully, not too many more wins. I want to get one in there somewhere, but if you can get it, go for it, man.
Yeah, I hear you. It was nice to talk with Keith there at the end of the race, and we got super close with lap traffic, and I was like, oh man, it was the longest 10 laps of my life there at Martinsville, because he was coming and he's like, oh man, I almost got you in the back there, but you've been racing me clean, and it was just nice to have some camaraderie there, and eventually pay back the favor, that everybody runs each other clean, and we respect each other on the track, which is nice.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have that. The more you see that in a league, the better racing there's going to be for sure. But Chris, again, thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. We appreciate it, and we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be back with spotter John Revelle.
Cage matches, yeah, they work. How could they not work? If they didn't work, everybody would still be in the cage.
Do more and stay active with O2 Dermalief, the ache and pain relief gel like no other. No smell, no tingling sensation, and no greasy feel. O2 Dermalief is a natural pain relief for everyday aches, pains, bumps, and bruises. Oxygen is the secret. It's the natural way to relieve and revitalize. Your joints, muscles, and skin need oxygen to thrive, and O2 Dermalief delivers a rich supply of molecular oxygen in a new, state-of-the-art formula. Every day we hear new stories of pain relief from satisfied customers. Shouldn't you try O2 Dermalief too? Score a $5 discount on your purchase of O2 Dermalief. Visit O2Dermalief.com and use promo code SOMO999. That's the letter O, the number 2, Dermalief.com, and enter SOMO999 to get your $5 discount.
But it's a mystery, and I don't like mysteries. Give me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now.
Now back to your hosts.
I'm afraid what you're describing is schizophrenia.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's just a voice in my head.
Well, I'll tell you what I think.
This may sound like gibberish to you, but I think I'm in a tragedy.
All right, we're back here at SoMo Garage. John Revelle joins us. John, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. How about you guys?
Not too bad. So, John, tell me, you have a racing background as well as now you just do some spotting as well. Tell us about your racing background and how you got involved in racing and into iRacing.
Oh, I've been racing pretty much my whole entire life. Ever since I've been, I think it was 5 years old, we started in little go-karts, and then we went to midget cars, and then I started getting into the shifter karts. And then from there, we got out of that and start drag racing.
Oh wow! So you've had a a good bit of different kinds of racing you've been involved with over the years.
Oh yeah, I've done racing right from go-karts all the way to like blown alcohol mud trucks to drag racing, and now just got back into what I like: street stocks, late models, super lates, all that kind of stuff.
Are you talking about real racing or?
That's real racing.
Okay, that's awesome. How did you get started? On the sim side of it.
Actually, my buddy Tim told me all about it, and then I tried it out because wintertime you don't race, so always have that itch to get back in the car and get racing. And I tried it and fell in love with it.
It's definitely the cheaper alternative, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely cheaper, that's for sure. At least when you crash, you don't have to go spend thousands of dollars to fix it.
That's right. So tell me, as far as the spotter end of it, now do you just spot for Steven or do you spot for multiple people?
For iRacing, I pretty much just spot for Steve, and then when I do the real stuff, I do a little bit of both. I work mostly in the pits and working with the crew, but also do a little bit of spotting here and there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So as a spotter, um, what what exactly? I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I never spotted for anybody, so just kind of tell me, like, I mean, how is it? I mean, is it a very strenuous job? I mean, is it hard? I mean, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you when you're spotting for Steven?
No, I don't find any pressure. Me and Steven have a pretty good relationship on here. It's fun. The biggest thing that I find is just to keep your driver cool and collective, and keep yourself cool at the same time, and everything will go good. Can't stop everything, but we'll try to keep him out of everything.
So you're telling me you keep Steven Parks cool? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a full-time job in itself, right?
I try to. There's sometimes I know when he's a little angry. You just got to work through it. That's just what spotter is there to do.
Yeah, Steven knows I'm just messing with him, but yeah, he's he definitely he gets worked up sometimes. We'll just say that. But that's pretty cool that you guys have that relationship. How did you two end up hooking up and meeting?
I believe it was through Lazy Days Racing. We started there, and then I started spotting with him, and then just everything clicks. When you don't have a spotter and you don't like him, you know right from the get-go. And me and Steve have pretty much gotten together since we started, and still going to this day.
That's pretty awesome. So you're a spotter in the West Car Series in Canada, also.
We do like the West Car and and the Western, so that's Victoria, BC, and then the West Car is all over British Columbia. So we do a lot of that. Usually, I don't really spot too much with the late models anymore. It's more with Shane. He's the one that builds all our race cars and sets them up for every single track. So we usually just hire him because he's pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, that's cool. So as far as spotting is concerned, do you find it really much of the same as far as spotting for for somebody in real life as opposed to iRacing?
I pretty much do the same. I don't really tell them too much what's behind them. There's no reason for a race car driver to look in his rearview mirror. He shouldn't know who's behind, just what's in front.
Yeah, okay, that's a pretty good strategy.
I have to admit, that's one thing that he has definitely helped me with this year. Whenever he's spotting me, I'm looking ahead. I'm not looking to what's going on behind me.
You don't need to look what's behind. If they're behind you, they're behind. That's where they're at. If they're passing, then I'll let them know that they're coming, and Steve can figure out the direction he wants to go.
I think I got to try that. I think that's a problem I have. I look too much behind me.
Never look behind, man. Always look 2 cars in front of you. You'll never pass the person in front if you're always looking behind.
Good advice, man.
So, I guess I need to ask Steven this. Steven, I mean, is this the only spotter you've ever had?
The only, I guess you could say, permanent one I've had a couple here and there, and just nothing. It never really clicked like John and I have, and it's just, I mean, I think it started back when we were in the Winter Series here at SoMo in the tour mods. It was just, he got in and spotted for me, and it was like, wow. I mean, I don't know what it is about what you're saying, but I'm driving better and I'm more confident, and I don't feel like I'm gonna get killed every time I'm going into the corner.
Yeah, so it's definitely made you a better driver by having a real live spotter, basically.
Yeah, I would say so.
I have a question for John. I know, like, I talk to Steve a lot during the races. You know, we're in our own channel sometimes with admin stuff, and you know, we conversate through the races and you know whatever. The first time Steve almost gave me a heart attack, man. We were on a track and it was kind of silent. We, you know, talked a little bit and then we got to that silent part for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something happened with Steve, and man, at the top of his lungs, he just screamed out, and I wasn't prepared for it. I almost jumped out the seat, man, because I was like, "Wow, has he done that to you, or have you experienced that? And how was it the first time it happened?"
I haven't really experienced it too much. Usually I know when something happened and Steve goes quiet on the mic, then I know like he's probably cursing and swearing at him, not at himself, but more just at the screen because it gets very frustrating. Us spotters can't stop everything, and we can't stop the people in front. So I haven't felt that part, but I'm sure it's coming.
It's good though, man. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't prepared for it the first time I heard it, man. Like I said, dude, I almost had a heart attack. It scared me. I was like, whoa, like I freaked out because I was definitely not expecting it. Now I know Steve. You know, I know how he is, and you know, he gets excitable, and definitely you can tell he's got 100% put into it. So you know, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Just wait for the chase, John.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Spotting is also fun but frustrating, but I still got some more tricks up my sleeve to tell Steve about what I've learned, and you know, it's coming.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I had one quick question. I guess it would kind of be for both of you guys. Is how much does the chemistry between you guys help? I know that it takes a lot to talk back and forth and to be on the same page. And how much do you think the relationship dynamic plays into it?
I mean, I think it helps me a lot because just the fact that, there's times on the track when it gets boring and, you may be in the middle of nowhere with 5 seconds ahead, 5 seconds behind, you're just kind of cruising. And, just to have, for me almost, it's to have that communication with somebody who's not driving and whatnot, that I'm not thinking, oh, I'm bothering this person. It kind of helps me relax, kind of, helps me see where I can make up a little bit of time. And one of the things that John does for me is he says, hey, the leader's doing this. Why don't you try to do this? See if you can make up a little bit of time doing this as opposed to that. And, also the fact that we kind of discussed before races even start, hey, this is what our strategy is. I know back at Auto Club, when we did the NIS Open, first thing we did before we even started the race was, hey, this is our fuel cycle. These are the laps we're going to pit. And I honestly think that's what won us the race at the end there.
That's very cool. I could definitely tell, like, Stephen, your personality and then John's, like, you two are pretty much opposite. So maybe that's good, like, you kind of get worked up and John kind of, brings you back down again. So I'm thinking if you were both were high strung, it probably wouldn't be a good chemistry mix, that's for sure.
I think everybody in iRacing's high strung, and you just got to find ways of adapting. And if you don't have chemistry with the person that's you're racing with or spotting with, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and that's what we've heard now, because this is the second basically spotter interview that we've done, and basically a lot of the same things were said last time, where you got to have that chemistry between the driver and the spotter, and everything has to kind of mix in well together, or else it doesn't work. So that's pretty cool.
I'm still learning from Steve, and I'm sure he's still learning from me, but it's been working. I like it. He's cool. I don't know. I want to be in a victory. We've had some trouble in the last little bit, but it'll all come around.
I have one more question for you guys. When you're racing and spotting for Steve, do you control like the pit stops? Do you tell him, if you're taking 2 or taking 4, do you guys discuss it, or do you leave that up to Steve?
A little bit of both. We usually discuss that before we start racing, but it all changes. Sometimes I suggest we should be doing, different tire pressure or something like that, just to change it up a little bit if his car is too tight or too loose. But other than that, we pretty much talk about it beforehand, and then we play it as a year. You never know. You crash, and then stuff happens, and we go.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I'm putting out an ad for a spotter. I'd love to have a live spotter.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps when the cautions first come out. I mean, we sit there and okay, do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? Do we want to take 2? Do we want to take 4? Maybe we shouldn't take a full tank of fuel. You know, we kind of go through all that before we even get to the pit. So by the time I'm hitting pit road, everything's already set up for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and the spotter, probably, can see a lot, easier than the driver can, and say, okay, well, half these guys on the last run took 2 tires, you might want to try that, or it didn't work so well, let's go with 4. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's definitely an extra set of eyes that you don't have when you have the regular spotter and iRacing. So, that's definitely something to be gained.
I have one more question for you, John. Do you also race on iRacing, or you just really spot? Or
I do when I can, usually in the wintertime. I do a little bit more racing. Summertime, it's pretty jam-packed with my own kind of racing. So, like, Monday to Thursdays, I'll pretty much just be, like, spotting for Steve. And then every weekend, I'm usually gone. Like, this weekend, we're in Yakima. And that's just like 5 hours out of Seattle, I believe. And then we start in BC, and then at the end of the year, we top it off in Vegas.
Wow, full season, man. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty much gone every freaking weekend. It gets annoying by the end of the year, all the traveling, but it's worth it.
Are you married or anything, John?
Yeah, I'm married. I got 2 kids, and I got a wife that supports my freaking racing habit. That's for sure.
That's something I wasn't expecting you to say. That's for sure. I figured you'd say, no, I'm single, man. I don't have any kids or anything. But that's awesome that that she's supporting you through all that. Because I mean, it's got to be tough, especially having kids, being gone, a lot like you are. So,
it's always kind of funny when he's spotting for me, and I can tell when his wife's not home because I can hear the kids screaming right next to him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's funny. Well, I mean, hats off to you, man. That's great, man. That you can put all that together and make it all work. And definitely an awesome interview. I'm glad we had you on.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to talk a little bit of iRacing and some NASCAR.
People say, oh, it's dangerous to keep weapons in the home or the workplace. Well, I say, it's better to be hurt by someone you know accidentally than by a stranger on purpose.
And now, on with the show.
Put on your boots. It's getting deep in here.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
All right, welcome back to SoMo Garage. So, I want to talk about some dirt racing. iRacing released dirt on Wednesday, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Wednesday the 29th.
Yeah. Okay, Wednesday. Yep. So you guys ran a race Wednesday night. Tell me about it. I mean, I didn't get to race it. I haven't driven a lap on dirt so far in iRacing. So just kind of give me an insight on it. Tell me how it went.
Go ahead, Joe. Since you used to run dirt, give us your feedback on it.
We were running. Well, we did a bunch that night, I think. We were running some street stocks. I think we went to USA Speedway. It was a lot of fun. I know that those cars are really not that easy to drive. They're very heavy. They don't want to turn. It's basically, you know, it's pretty much a street car with really huge tires on it. So, um, I was just really impressed with the dynamic track, how much it changed. And I mean, dirt tracks change very quickly in the real world, and it definitely seemed to follow suit in iRacing. Um, just a lot of the characteristics of the car feel very on point. Um, Obviously, it's been pretty well proven over time that nothing in iRacing is perfect, but they're always releasing updates and trying to make it even better for everyone. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. I really don't have too many complaints about it. It feels pretty much spot on.
One thing I do have to say before we go further is I definitely got to give a shout out to iRacing, man. I think they did a great job in putting this dirt together. I think they did the right thing by waiting and putting it out when they did instead of putting it out a little bit earlier when it really wasn't ready to be released. They did a great job, man, putting out all this content, all these cars, the tracks that they've got done already. And for me, I mean, it went flawless. I think this was the first time where, I've downloaded a brand new build and with new content where, and I hope I don't jinx myself, but I haven't had any issues whatsoever. And a lot of people I talk to in the league and a lot of guys that I talk to on Facebook and all, the same thing. It went smooth and people were just surprised. And the way they did it with putting up the test sessions while, they were updating everything, letting you pre-order and then getting on and testing in a, test session while you were waiting for, iRace to be up to date, was just amazing, man. They did a great job of it. And I was really, really impressed and definitely was an eye opener. Well, we figured we'd do the street stocks because we figured street stocks would be the easiest car to drive, man. Wow. We hit USA and man, I'll tell you what, I couldn't even do a lap in those cars in the beginning, man. It was just nothing what I expected. But like Joe said, the track state and everything, I mean, it's just amazing to see. They absolutely did a great job.
Yeah, it was very cool to see that iRacing. It seemed like all the pieces fell into place this time around, and my hat's off to them for, like you said, waiting until it got to a point where they felt that it was really, really good, and not jumping the gun and trying to release it too soon. But I think it's been noted in the past with some network instability issues, but I mean, there were thousands and thousands of people online downloading new content, test driving. Um, it was crazy to see all the pieces finally starting to come together, and everything went so smooth. I'm really happy, and I'm proud to be a part of iRacing.
Now, Joe, I know you had some dirt experience in the past, but Paul or Aaron, did you guys after racing dirt for a little while, Wednesday, did you notice anything different about your driving style Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, because it was Martinsville, it wasn't so bad. But when I first got on the track, I noticed I was over driving it and wanting to slide the car in, almost like doing it on dirt. And I had to like really think about it, for the first probably 10 or 15 laps that I was out in practice because I would like come right up into the turn, and I would go to, sharp turn it right and spin the car, and I was like, wait, what are you doing, man? So that, those first couple laps were definitely confusing to me, and like I said, once I realized what I was doing, I kind of got back into it. But even with the update that they did with the Cup cars for Thursday night, it was even so much more connected feeling on the track that night too.
Yeah, I didn't get to run any dirt yet, but that'll definitely be something I'll be looking forward to in the future. Kind of wanted to see how it all went, and that's why I got some feedback from a few guys the other night, and Paul and all them. So, it sounds like it's pretty good. Have any of you guys driven dirt in real life or real race cars or?
I grew up I didn't never drove dirt, but I mean, I grew up probably 25 minutes away from a dirt track that the World of Outlaws actually run. And, growing up, kind of going to a couple of races here and there, you kind of get a feel for seeing how those sprint cars are supposed to run. And I think that was my biggest downfall when it came to racing on dirt was I've seen those guys run, and so I wanted to, almost have the car in 90 degrees trying to turn it through the full corner without losing it.
Yep.
Yeah, so, kind of growing up around it, to you, with this release, it seems pretty realistic, spot on. They did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see. I would hope down the line we see more of the World of Outlaw, scheduled tracks that they run, and it'll be interesting when they do that because of the fact that a lot of those tracks don't have the pit lane inside of the track. They're on the outside, and you enter the track. I know at Eagle Raceway, which is the track that I grew up near, the pit is on top of a hill, and to enter the track, you drop down the hill onto the track. So it'll be interesting to see if iRacing, will bring those tracks around eventually.
Now I know Joe's done a lot of dirt racing. Joe's had a dirt car, and Joe's was very involved with dirt racing. Before I give it to him, I went and tried running the dirt late models, and I couldn't get anywhere with it, so I kind of moved off them for a little bit. And then one night, Joe put a server up, and we got out in the late models, and he started giving me some pointers and watching me go around the track and telling me some things to do. And I'm able now to get around the track pretty decent. I wouldn't say I'm great or anything, but I can definitely do multiple laps, and my times have been improving, and I'm getting a lot more comfortable with the car. So I definitely appreciate the time he spent to get me going on there. And I seem to now gravitate towards that car because I really like the feel of it. And with that said, I'll let you, Joe, talk about your dirt experience.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Paul. That anytime I can get someone interested in the late models, they're such a fun car. They're very difficult to get a grasp on early on, but if this is what I always tell people is whatever you think you know about driving a race car, when you get in a late model, it's the exact opposite. It feels so wrong. Just the way you have to throw the car in, it feels wrong. It feels like the car's going to slide, and your instincts tell you to lift, but the cars are supposed to slide, and then the left rear jacks up probably 18 inches, and it feels like you're going to flip over. It's a very different feeling, but once you get the hang of it, it's really great. I mean, I've been around racing my whole life. My dad, he started racing in the 80s, and he raced a quarter-mile asphalt track in Texas. And I mean, at a very young age, 6 months old, I was at the racetrack, and my whole life I've been around it, and finally got to a point where I could build a car. And it didn't last quite as long as I would have hoped it would have, but it was definitely a fun experience. My late model would be the equivalent of the Pro late model on iRacing. It has the 358 engine. Definitely a lot of fun. I mean, words can't really describe the feeling of actually being in a car, but iRacing, it's so close. There's a couple things missing, but I mean, I'd say it's 98% there. There's a few things I'd like for them to work on, but they went into uncharted territory. They're doing something that no one else has attempted to do in at least the last 10 to 12 years. So for them to take the time and get it to the point that it's at right now, my hat's off to them.
What do you think is next for iRacing? Do you think they'll ever venture into drag racing?
There's rumors about drag racing and dirt rally. I know Dwayne LaPrade had that dirt drag kings drag racing thing going. I think it's Sonoma, and I did that a couple times with them, and it was pretty much a user interface. He had to pretty much do everything and get everybody lined up and move on to the different heats and all and the eliminations. But that was a lot of fun, man. So if they can get that next with some actual dragsters and top fuels and stuff, I think that would also be a hit. And if they do it like they did the dirt, I think it'll definitely be a success.
Now, I've heard that, I mean, it's already been confirmed they're going to do the rally, but I believe they're doing rally cross. So it'll be more like the stuff you see in the X Games where it's a set track and, it'll be some dirt, some asphalt. I really want them to bring pure rally racing where it's point A to point B, time trial type stuff, but it'd be really difficult to do that here on iRacing.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, I would say, I mean, anything's possible in the future. I don't know that anyone really anticipated dirt coming. I mean, it's been talked about a lot in the past, but I know that, like you guys said, they're going to do the rallycross stuff, which I think it's going to be a huge stepping stone to get to rally. I mean, there's a couple other things I'd like to see, but going back a little bit, there's a lot of work to be done on the current stuff that's released. That I'm sure there's a ton of tracks that are going to have to be scanned and put in game, and there's also a lot of other issues with some of those tracks, like Lernerville in PA it's a World of Outlaws track, and the pit roads on the outside, like Steve was talking about, and it'll be interesting to see if they come up with any type of workaround for some of these tracks to get them in the game, or if how they really plan to go about it. It'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds in the future.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people don't realize how much is involved in making all that happen. And like you were saying, Joe, I mean they need to scan everything. I'm sure there's licenses involved. There's just a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes that it's not just all right, let's just take a ride around this track and then develop it. It's not like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So very cool to see it, and it sounds like so far it's a success. And I'm sure someday we'll see some dirt racing at SoMo. So very cool. Paul, it's 9:50. Let's go ahead and plug the hub.
All right, guys. We've said it a couple times before. We'll say it again. The Hub Sim Racing giveaways on Facebook. Tyler Summerlin heads it up. If you haven't been there or you still haven't checked it out, you need to go check it out. It's a page that they have on Facebook where he'll come up with wheels, sims, button boxes, video cards, Oculus Rifts, all kinds of stuff that we all want and use for our sim racing. And he'll have slots open, and you'll get stuff on there in like a lottery type deal. You buy a slot or you buy multiple slots, and then he'll use randomizer to go through. If you got a 40 slot, he'll use the randomizer and put in 1 through 40, and it'll pick the winner. And you can walk out of there with high quality, brand new material, brand new steering wheels, pedals, sim rigs, Oculus Rifts. Guys got computers. I mean, there's so much stuff that these guys have already gone through. It's amazing. And you can come out of that for $30, for $40, for $10. It's just amazing. I know I've bid on a couple of things. I watch them all the time. I know Steve, you've been involved. Nope, I guess maybe Steve ain't.
No, I'm here. Yeah, I haven't had much luck with it recently, but I mean, yeah, they've given away a couple of Oculus Rifts on there, and right now I see they have an iBuyPower computer, which is actually is the company that built the computer I'm using right now, and then I think they still have this open. Yeah, they do. A 18 functional USB button box, and I mean, you spend $6 for a slot, and you have a chance at winning. I think it's like a $60 or $70 button box.
Yeah, so even if you want to spend $24 and buy 4 slots, and say you win, you got 4 different chances to win. If you win, you got a $60 item for $40. I know with the Oculus Rift, they're close to about $600. Guys, I think they were $40 a slot. A couple guys did $80. They bought 2 slots, 3 slots. I mean, and even if you spend $80, you're still getting a $600 piece of equipment, brand new. Everything they do is brand new. Everything is secured through PayPal, and they're honest and upfront. I've been through all the ins and outs with them. I've questioned everything because I'm always a suspicious kind of a person. I like to know who I'm talking to and what the ins and outs are before I hand over any of my hard-earned money. And they definitely got a great thing going, man. And I hope they stick with it. I hope they keep it up, and I hope to see it keep on growing. If you haven't been there, go to Facebook, type in The Hub. You'll see the logo here, The Hub Sim Racing Giveaways, Tyler Summerlin. Join the group. Tell them you heard us here at SoMo Garage, and check out what they got, and keep it up on your radar, because I guarantee you'll see tons of stuff go by that you want.
Yeah, very cool. I've gotten a chance to look at a couple things on there too, and definitely, I mean, nothing is junk on there. I mean, everything is super high quality, new items, and very, very cool. So check it out for sure. Well, guys, we have we have one race under our belt so far with the new iRacing update, and I know it was Martinsville, and that's not a really good test of the aero side of it. But I do feel as if the changes that they've made with the tires definitely getting to be more realistic and getting back on track. Your thoughts?
I don't know if you've had a chance to do any laps at Texas, but it is completely different at Texas.
I have, yeah. I was gonna say that, but we really haven't had any firm league races on it yet, but a lot better. I'm really, really happy in the direction they're going in.
Oh, it felt a lot better at Martinsville. It feels like, I want to say they learned some stuff from dirt that carried over, almost like they're able to see what the tires are doing under load on 2 separate axes, almost a forward and a side bite. It feels like the cars have more side bite, and it makes it feel so much more planted in the corner. And I ran some laps at Texas with Paul, and it's a night and day difference, because our race last year was
it was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a handful. It was everything you had not to wreck the car, and it feels so much better this time. So again, hats off to them for just taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and we'll bring this up again next week, because we'll have Texas behind us then, and that's going to be our true test of the aero side of it. So hats off to iRacing for definitely striving to make the oval side of it better. It seems like that's kind of the redheaded stepchild in iRacing, where because a lot of the stuff is road racing, and that's just so huge at iRacing. But they brought in an engineer, which was a former engineer from a NASCAR team, Steve Rice or Reese, I believe his name is, to come in and help develop the physics for this update, which is really really cool. That just shows that iRacing is now devoted to making the oval side of it better. And for all the oval racers out there, that's a great thing, because I think it was 2 races ago I was telling Paul, I was like, man, I feel like we're driving around here on like plastic tires, you know what I mean, that are just sliding across the racetrack. I have no idea how these guys are turning these laps and the car feels this bad, but some guys actually adapt to it and figure it out. But definitely, I mean, I've raced real cars, and by all means, definitely not realistic. Before this update, I think they're heading in the right direction. I think they're probably still going to have a little bit of work to do, and I'm sure they'll keep improving on it, but all in all, pretty good.
I want to add one thing. I'll make it quick. I know we're running out of time, but after they brought Steve in to go over the info and the data that they have for cars and to kind of compare it with what he knows in the real world, this is the first time that they've done a complete rework of the physics department. Instead of just applying an update to a previous version, they went way back and built the Cup car basically from scratch, physics wise, and it really shows that everything's just working so much better right now.
They needed to, man. I mean, they really did. It was bad. It was getting bad. But Paul, we got a pretty busy week coming up at SoMo. Why don't you go over what we got going on this week?
All right, yeah. Tuesday night in the Lazy Days Racing Truck Series, we're at Richmond for 125 laps in a night race. Wednesday night in the Lazy Days Racing Xfinity Series, we're at Texas for 135 laps. That'll be a late afternoon race. And then Thursday night on Max Speed TV, the Lazy Days Racing Cup Series will be at Texas for 145 laps. Should be pretty good. Richmond in the trucks, Texas in the Cup and Xfinity. And, with the update, definitely feeling a whole lot better. Definitely going to be a lot more better racing conditions. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, you can catch all the action on SRTV at 8:45. And then Thursday night, you can catch the action on Max Speed TV at 8:40 and iRacing Live. And, see what it's all about. See how it is with this new update, the new aero package, the low downforce. I think it's going to be some really great racing. I also want to give a quick shout out to candlesbyamyjic.com for coming on and being a sponsor with SoMo. We appreciate them coming on. We hope to see a lot of things go their way and come our way, and it should be pretty good. We've run some of their stuff on here. We'll put up some links, and if you get a chance, go check them out and see what they got. Gifts for everybody, things for everybody, men, women, children, not just for the women, not just for girls, not just for ladies, for everybody. Go see what they have for you on there. I'd like to just give them a thanks for thinking about us and coming our way.
Awesome. Well, guys, another one in the record books. Looking forward to seeing you guys trackside coming up this week. And I guess we'll see you next week, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, one last thing before we end here. Tyler Summerlin of the Hub just sent me and Paul a message. Everyone who joins the Hub and is a new member, if you mention SoMo Garage, you'll get 50% off one slot.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
That's very cool. That's awesome. That's great, man. He's stepping up, so that's cool. Glad to see all that working out over there for those guys. They're doing a heck of a job. All right, guys.
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you being here. Guys, thanks as always for coming out and hanging out and going over stuff with us. And if you like us, subscribe and follow us. Like I said, Tuesday night, Wednesday night here on SRTV, Thursday night on MaxB TV. Until then, we'll see you. Have a good night, everybody.